Hello everybody, Jim here, and welcome to Without the Numbers, the series where we scour Star Citizen archives to explain a facet of the game using official lore, flavor text, and the words of the developers themselves. Because the numbers are slippery, faithless, and always subject to change. Last week we covered the low-end fighters. Today we'll cover the big dogs, all fighters currently priced from $100 and up on the RSI website. If you want to know what I consider to be a fighter or why your favorite ship wasn't covered here, I explained it all in the last video. Link in the description. I suggest you go and watch that if you haven't done so already. Let's get started with Origin's M50. This ship is all about speed, and it is primarily marketed as a racer, but it's also been labeled as an interceptor, with a loadout consisting of some light energy weapons and missiles so tiny they're almost cute, it won't be dealing out much damage. But if you're good, it won't be taking any either. Hitting an M50 in combat feels a little like trying to kick a housefly in his gentleman parts. It may be devastating, but it ain't easy. For its speed, grace, and tendency to mercilessly peck you to death, I'd compare this ship to a rabid hummingbird. Next up, we have the quintessential fighter, the F7c Hornet. Legendary fighter pilot Aria Riley once said, "Give me a fully loaded Hornet and I'll shake the gates of heaven." But most people have never heard her follow-up. Fly a stock civilian model and you'll probably be there to watch me go by, 'cause you'll be dead. Seriously, if you take everything that's great about the military Hornet, pull it off and replace it with civilian parts in a cargo container, that is the stock F7C. End quote. What Arya forgot to mention was that this ship is highly upgradable, so you can use it as a jumping off point for bigger and better things. The F7C Hornet is descended from Predators, but thoroughly domesticated, so I'll compare this one to a Labrador Retriever. The Hornet Ghost is next in the civilian Hornet lineup. Everything I said about the base Hornet applies to this ship, except that the Ghost comes with special stealth armor. Combined with a ballistic loadout and high-efficiency components to reduce your signature, your opponents may well underestimate your sneakiness, allowing you to use the ballistics and missiles to great effect in a surprise attack, or fly onto your objective unmolested. It's a lightly armed, camouflaged predator, kind of like an Arctic fox. In the winter. The Hornet Tracker is also a modification of the base Hornet with a butt-kicking sensor package. Lacking even the missiles of the base Hornet, you'd think that the Tracker would be nearly helpless, but given advance warning by the sensors, the ability to call in some help, and the ability to track down some enemies that wouldn't even appear on other ships' radar, the Tracker is a little like the love child of a hard-boiled detective and a bloodhound. Now, where am I going to find a picture of that? Oh yeah, McGruff! The last civilian Hornet in the lineup is the F7cM Super Hornet. It's as close as you can get to military hardware without breaking UEE law. It has tons of extra guns, better armor, and an extra seat that allows a friend to take over the top turret or manage ship's functions while you fight. This is no tame dog or stealth predator. This is a wolf. The F7a Hornet is a military Hornet that has not been made available to civilians, so it's difficult to say with any accuracy what sets it apart from civilian models. But I think it's safe to assume that it will have a tougher hull and more guns. For these reasons alone, we'll call this a wolf, with Gatling guns. The F8 Lightning is another military ship that we know even less about. What we know is that it's a pure military craft. There is no civilian model. You could say it's more gun than wolf. And you could say that the Anvil Gladiator is more gun than ship. While technically a bomber and fairly slow, the Gladiator is sturdy and loaded with enough energy weapons to acquit itself nicely in a dogfight. It also carries a crap ton of missiles and a selection of torpedoes the size and relative shape of Shaquille O'Neal. There's even a turret, giving you a gunner to cover your back while you line up your bombing run. So, it's designed to get through a fighter screen and dump its payload on a heavy ship that all those pesky fighters are escorting. The marketing material also says that you can use the bomb bay as a cargo hold. But why? 'Cause, bombs? It's slow, solid, and packs a powerful punch, all of which makes me think of it as a ram. The Aegis Saber is, in many ways, the perfect fighter, and my current second favorite fighter to fly after the Mustang Delta. Where the Super Hornet is well armored and hard hitting, the Saber is fast, agile, and well shielded with a moderate punch. It has also been designed with stealth in mind, reducing cross-section, infrared, and electromagnetic signatures to the point where it's harder to detect than a Hornet Ghost. This is a dedicated stealth fighter, designed to stalk and kill from the shadows. Let's call this one a Panther. Next is the Cartual. Technically classified as a light fighter, it's an alien ship with a positively insectile appearance and a modified human control rig. It's very fast, very agile, and lightly armed in comparison with other fighting ships. But if you aren't careful, it can still take you down. We'll call this one a rabid squirrel. The Vanguard is a big ship, but it's fast and maneuverable. It's also got a large internal compartment which can be used for living space, electronic warfare, or extra explosives. The Warden variant is a long-range fighter with a pair of bunks, a bathroom, food prep facilities, lockers, and an internal station for monitoring ship systems. The Sentinel focuses on misdirection by replacing food prep and lockers with a bag of electronic tricks, including decoy missiles that broadcast ship signatures, an electronic warfare pod, presumably for hacking enemy ship systems, and EMP charges for those times when you want to disable your prey or vanish in a poof of smoke. And the Harbinger rips out everything but the toilet and bunks to fill the space with great big bombs. Whatever gear it carries, the Vanguard is a large, fast, maneuverable combat craft with a powerful kick, like a horse. Variants include ninja gear and big ol' bombs. Also, the horse may be red. Finally, we have the Vanduul fighters. The Blade is a lightly armed and armored scout ship that relies mainly on its speed and agility for defense. It might be considered the equivalent of the human M50, but it's an alien ship, so we'll give it an alien animal for comparison. Let's call this one the Minoc. The Scythe is also fast and maneuverable, but much more heavily armed. This is a fairly common fighter that tends to hunt in packs. We'll liken this to the title creature from the film Critters, which I feel is an underrated series if for no other reason than it attempted to kill Leonardo DiCaprio before he reached his final form. Lastly, we have the Glaive. Here is the heavy hitter of the group. Each wing is mounted with a weapon that would look at home on a UEE ship 10 times its size. It's fast, powerful, and designed solely for destruction. Given half a chance, this one is likely to ram an ovipositor down your throat and lay its eggs in your chest. And that does it for fighters. If you missed fighters from $0 to $100, you'll find a link to that video in the description. And if you're from the future and you've come looking for the Drake Buccaneer or any other ship that's not yet been released, you'll find links to those videos as well, regardless of the ship's price. Thanks very much to everybody who's watched, subscribed, shared, or commented on any of my videos. You guys make this fun for me. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time.